I've been asked to do some videos to assist in the detailed setting up of the sequencer. I'm going to do this in a number of parts. First of all, I'm going to start with the transmitter switch setup. There'll be another part to talk about how to set the door direction. Another part to talk about adjusting the door travel. A similar exercise to do the legs, to set the direction for the legs. Another part to do leg adjustment. Then I'll do a piece on door action, and that's basically whether the doors will remain open once the gear is down or whether they'll close again. I'll do a part on timings, how long or how to adjust how long it takes for the doors to open. Another part on how long it'll take the gear legs to travel. Another part on closing the doors, how long that takes. And the final section will be on lag. So the first part of this video series is going to be how to set up the transmitter switch direction. And this is probably the most critical part of the entire setup, and naturally, of course, probably the easiest to get wrong. And the reason it's easy to get wrong is that the sequencer can sort of shield the effects of that in the early parts of the setup process. So you could be some way down line before you realise you've got it the wrong way round, when you're having difficulties, particularly with setting up the time delays for the doors to open, the legs to move. You'll end up with the legs getting fouled on the door way downstream. So it's worth taking your time on this section and getting this bit right. So the first thing I'm going to do then is I'm just going to take the device itself and I'm going to put it into the gear port of the receiver, and then I'm going to take just two servos. You don't want to connect the servos to anything at the moment, you just want to see the way that they travel. And what I'm going to do is just going to put the arms on them. It'd be better, to be honest, in fact I'll take two separate servos and I'm going to put the first one into the top port. Now, there's no easy way of doing this really other than to call them 1 through 6. The way I orientate the board is when you look at the pick, you'll see that at the one end of the pick there's a little dimple on the top. It's just here. So I will call that the top from now on. Therefore the output port nearest that dimple is 1, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 3 are for the doors, the second 3 are for the legs. And what we want to do at this stage is to look at the different movements between the legs and the doors. So I'm going to plug one servo into any really of the first 3 ports and the second servo into any of the second 3 ports. So I'm going to choose ports 1 and 4 here and plug them in like this, and hopefully this servo, with a bit of persuasion, will stay upright. So I'll turn the transmitter on, okay, and I'll turn the receiver on. You want to start with the gear switch on your transmitter in the raised position, and when you move the gear to the lower position, what you want to see is the door servo moving first. So this is the door servo, this is the gear servo, because this is in ports 1 to 3, this is in ports 4 to 6, 1 and 4. So when I move it to the lower position on my transmitter, it's important that we see this servo move first, like that. So the door's open, then the gear moves. What I can do is quickly on the transmitter just show you the wrong way around, okay? So basically here I come to lower the gear, and you can imagine here we have a situation where the gear is starting to move before the door is opened. So clearly we don't want that to happen. This is set up by default for a JR transmitter because I use JR, but I'm told that Futaba are the other way around. So if you do have a Futaba, I believe you'll need to change the orientation of this. So once again, just for emphasis, as I say, this is the most important bit of the whole process because it will trip you up downstream if you don't get it right. When we move the gear down, then we want the door to open first and then the gear to travel. If you don't have that, just change your transmitter settings.